Hold on. We're on, baby. What's up? What's up? On location here. The Card Frenzy
Yeah,
podcast. Two undisclosed locations right now. Enjoying the summer, but the show must go on. We want to get this episode in. Got a bunch of things we want to touch on. And it's great seeing you, man. We got
just by seeing you.
thank you, thank you. We got my man Angelo, one of the owners of the Collector's Cave on Staten Island, 4011 Highland Boulevard, man. They got everything. Go check them out. My name is Matty Steven. We run the Sports Card Show on Staten Island. We got a show next Friday, August 14th, St. Patrick's. Make sure you come out and see us. But we just got back from the National, man, and we want to really touch on a few things that we saw out there and get into it. What did you
How was it?
what did you hear about through the grapevine? Because I know you weren't out there, but we're going to try to get you out there next year.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna try and get out there next year. I haven't been to one in a few years, so I definitely need to get back to one. I heard a lot of good things. I heard trading on site went well. I saw a lot of the private sales, the big private sales that I thought was really cool. A lot of PMG Kobe's. I heard there was a situation with that and like an $18,000 upcharge from PSA, which I guess when you think about something like that, it was like a $430,000 card, so $18,000 upcharge, not really that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Uh, Unfortunately, theft was a big part of it. And then you see a lot of these other guys who were there with the buying and the selling of some of the cards they picked up. And I'm sure with your experience there as well, right? You saw some grails on the floor, right? Cards you don't see every day.
Yeah, it was amazing. I mean, that was one of the most amazing things. You see some stuff that people bring out of the safes, they bring out from underneath the beds that they've been hiding for a long time. And listen, that's the place where people are wheeling and dealing for big cards. They're wheeling and dealing for small cards, wheeling and dealing for everything. But if there's ever a place to bring some grails out and try to get some sales, that's the place to do it, man. And yeah, we definitely saw some crazy grails out there from, I mean, cases of Otani autograph cards, like just full cases. And one amazing case that I saw, this guy had all vintage in this case, but he had like 7 or 8 1952 Mickey Mantle rookie cards in one row across the
That
board.
one.
And then, yeah, and then he had a whole row of Babe Ruths, a whole row of Jackie Robinson rookie cards. I mean, I estimated just the case alone to be somewhere between like $7 and $10 million. Just one case of his like 20 cases that he had. So there was some like real serious stuff out there. And I mean, I made a video a couple days ago. I was really impressed with how much vintage stuff I saw on the floor because a lot of times the vintage it gets trumped by all of the new stuff that's out right now because there's so much really cool liquid stuff from Wemby's to Kobe to Judge to Otani, and there was a lot of vintage, a lot more than I expected, and good vintage too. A good vintage, big name guys. So that was great for the hobby, and that I think is awesome because for the younger generation that doesn't really know about vintage that much because they didn't grow up with it. They don't see these guys playing. So for them to see this stuff and see that this stuff really has some serious value, I think was amazing for the hobby because that brings it out. And to see, I mean, you think there's not that much of these Otani cards, these Judge cards out there, but wow, I couldn't believe it how many of them people have, and people are hitting those grails. So keep ripping, keep doing what you're doing, and keep finding them. But I mean,
Do
there
you
was.
remember?
Go ahead.
Do you remember there's a guy from like the 70s, and I don't know what news station it was, and they go up to him and they said, "Oh, how much is this?" And he goes, "Three," or I think it was $30,000 Mickey Mantle cards, and he became famous. He was like famous for having like the Mantle card, the rookie card, and fast forward 30, 40 years later, this guy's still doing the national, and he still got the cards.
Isn't it amazing?
It's
Like
crazy.
I saw this one gentleman. He was the first table as soon as we walked in, and he was pretty much at. This was 46 nationals he was at, so he did every single one, and he's like, I had priority from the beginning. He goes, so that's how we get this very first table. And it was really nice talking to him because he's seen the wave of when things were up to when things go down to when things go flat. So that was amazing. Yeah, a lot of these guys still have these cards. I mean, I saw Golden. They did an interview with a guy recently. He consigned a card with them over at the National that he had a 1952 Bowman Mickey Mantle that he had gotten when I believe he said he was 8 years old. And he sent the card out to Mickey Mantle, care of the Yankees, to get signed. And he got it back 3 weeks later, signed. And he's had it since the early 50s. And he got it graded, he got it authenticated, all that great stuff. And now he's consigning it with Golden. So he's had it for like, my God, 70 years. Amazing stuff.
I have a coworker who came to one of your first shows at. What was the first show? Which church was it? Remind me.
St. Anne's.
St. Anne's. Okay, so his dad came up to me, and he had the Topps Mantle rookie card autographed. I said, Doug, dude, you have to get this authenticated. It's the only way to know. And he's like, what do you think it's worth if it's authenticated and it's true and it's real and yada yada yada? I'm like, you'll never have to worry about another thing in your life. And I told this man, like, you're done. You're not generational wealth, but you'll be able to leave something to your kids. You'll be comfortable. I said, let me authenticate a few, do it a collector's cave, PSA dealer, and then I have a rep at Golden I can put you in touch with, and we'll go from there. I'm like, the guy didn't even have it in a top loader, Matt. I was like, what are we doing?
I wish I saw this card.
Yeah, I know. I should have showed it to you. And I told him, I said, I'm not very good with authenticating autographs myself. I'm not professional at it at all. Leave it to the pros. But when I compared it to some of his other autographs on my phone, unless these guys are using like a really good auto pen, this thing looked legit, man. It looked legit.
Right.
It would have been really. I should have showed it to you. You probably would have known.
So he didn't want to authenticate it. What was it?
I think we're gonna authenticate it for him. It's just a matter of when his dad just wants to do it. Because his dad, I think he's afraid that it'll come back fake. That's my opinion. And I told him, I said, I don't think it is. I think it's real. Well, we'll see.
How else will you ever know unless?
That's what I said. Yeah, exactly. How else will you know? You know, it's one of those things where you have to authenticate that card.
You definitely have to. I mean, but another thing I wanted to touch on, and kind of like a little rant in a way, but the people pricing these cards way too high, and I just think it's not the greatest business move, because we have everything at our fingertips now, either it being eBay app, either it being card ladder, whatever the case may be that we have so many different ways to see prices of cards. In the Pokemon world, you have your avenues that you check cards up on.
Yep.
To mark something up 10x, 15x, like what the value is, you leave yourself no room for negotiation whatsoever. I don't even negotiate with somebody that has a card 10x. Why would you ever do that?
And I'm just going to say that to you. When you see a vendor who prices their card 10x, because I saw a lot of clips about this also, don't you feel like, I'm not even going to bother with this guy, I'm just going to keep it moving? So at least you kind of think about the vendor, right? What is he trying to do? Is he trying to catch somebody sleeping, or somebody who just doesn't know better? Or like, are you open to negotiation? Like, what's going on here? You're better off not leaving a price on it and just saying, all right, let's say it was 4,800. I want 4,800. You know, in some of the cards that are out there, you could do that, but 10x is ridiculous. I know it's the national, but Jesus.
It's crazy. I almost feel like that they're trying to catch people, and I don't know if it's because they're at the national, so it's like, are they going to actually get somebody that's got a lot of money in their pocket, and they're gonna be like, oh, what the hell? We'll
Right.
just buy it. Oh, it's only $250. But then at the same time, you look at it and you look it up later, and it sells for 100. Like, why would you ever do something like that?
Yeah.
It doesn't make much sense to me, and that falls into the same lines of. I understand there's a little argument people say they with if you put a sticker price on a card or you leave a price off of a card. Me personally, my opinion, I like to see prices on cards. I need to know. And I understand people say that if you don't put a sticker price on a card, it opens up for somebody to talk to you and say, "Hey, I'm interested in that card. What do you got on this?" Instead of just
Yeah.
seeing it and keeping it moving if it doesn't fall into their area. But me going into a place like the National that has so many thousands and thousands of people there, if I walk by a table and there's 12 people at a table, right? And he's got no sticker prices on cards, how am I going to get to the vendor first of all and say, excuse me, excuse me, can you tell me about that card?" He's talking to five or six other people at the same time.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to be like, I'll keep it moving. Maybe I'll come back later when he's not busy. But if he had a price on the card and it was in my realm that I wanted to pay for it, I would just be like, "Hey, could you pull that one out? I'll take it."
Yeah.
So that's why
Now,
I think at a bigger show, you definitely need to have prices. Smaller show, I still feel there should be prices, but
always, you're there to sell. Tell
always.
me how much you want. As a vendor, like one of my biggest pet peeves is when people come up to me and say, "Hey, what's your best price?" It's like, as a vendor, my best price is, and if you're at market, obviously, is right there on the sticker. That's my best price. That's where that would be phenomenal. That is best situational price right there. You pay me what I want, right?
Yeah.
So it's one of those things too, where it's just like, you see a lot of these people, what's your best price, what's your best price, what's your best price, and then you see these other vendors with no price. It's like, guys, put prices on it, be fair, and then go on from there. Start a conversation. We're all human. We said this 1,000 times, you and I. We're all human. There should be a price on everything, and don't be 10x. It's just not. It's not. You make yourself look bad, in my opinion.
Yeah,
But speaking of bad, I heard a lot of thefts going on.
yeah. Well, I saw that one video of that middle-aged man where it looked like it. People are saying it's his son, maybe it's his grandson. Who knows who it is to him?
Yeah, the Mahomes card, right? I think it
Yeah, the
was.
Mahomes card. I, Listen, that was a horrible thing to see. I think, regardless of what was stolen, either it being at a card shop, card show, um, at a food store, at a toy store, whatever. If you're with a child and you're condoning theft, you are setting that kid up for failure in his life before he even has a chance to make decisions of his own. I mean, it was a horrible thing to see. It was actually painful to watch because the kid would never listen. We're parents. We're both parents, and kids are born innocent. That's the bottom line. Kids are born innocent, and kids are born with good morals. It's up to the parents to put the right morals into them. And if the
Yeah,
guy is condoning thefts like that and all things like that at a young age, the kid looked like he was 10 years old. Kid
right.
looked like he was
I
10 years old, and it was
yeah,
like it was crazy. I couldn't believe what I saw, and just to then on the other angle, the vendors, if they got cards like that in the case, I heard somebody jumped off to lunch and somebody was having a conversation over here. You got to have somebody watching your cases at all times.
yeah. That's scary. I've never seen an instance where a random person would just open up a case and pull a card out. I mean, that's crazy. I'm glad for those people that they actually had it on camera that they can put out there on social media. I think that's I think it's really important. I hope they find this. I hope they find the people, and I hope they find the card. There's just no room for that in this hobby, man. That's not cool. It's terrible,
There's
terrible.
no room for it one bit. And I mean, just to lay down a couple of things I feel for shows going forward. I mean, if it's a busy show like that, you should definitely, which I noticed a lot and I thought it was amazing. Everybody had them locked. Exactly. Everybody had the cases locked. And say you got one guy or two guys that have the key out of like your whole team or something comes over, or if everybody has a key, that's fine. But just have them locked. Big events like that, you can't. There's too many people on the floor, and you can't watch everything. If it's locked, great, it's locked. That guy would have grabbed it, and he would have moved on. It would have. This thing would have never happened. So I don't
Yeah.
want to blame. I'm not going to blame anybody. First of all, we're blaming the guy for being a criminal. That's number
Yeah.
one. You know,
100%.
the vendors made a mistake. We all make mistakes. They're going to learn from it, unfortunately, a hard way. But you know, if you're not going to lock your stuff, you got to have somebody watching. I watched somebody talk about recently that they have a guy that comes to the show. He basically doesn't really have interest in cards. He doesn't deal with the cards. That's not his thing. But what he does is he just stands there and watches. Don't talk to him. Don't interact with him. Don't ask him how his day is. He's basically the security camera, eyes on the floor. And you know what? If you could bring a family member along, hey, do me a favor. If you think it's going to be a big show and by chance maybe you're going to be alone or you're not going to have enough people, hey, listen, you think you can hang out here and just stand there? You don't have to field questions. You don't have to do anything. I just need you as like a pit bull to watch the stuff. And 9 times out of 10, I think that will deter any crime from happening. Just having a person standing over the table, just watching, just looking like that's all his MO is. And that's a great thing to do if you have that means of getting an extra person to do that. I think
I
that's good.
agree. I agree. I mean, I haven't done a show as big as Philly. I mean, as big as the Nationals, but the biggest show I do that you could kind of compare is Philly. It's not a bad idea. Either lock your showcases to get a key or hire somebody. Hire somebody to just stand there. They're not allowed to leave the booth. They got to stand there and watch everything. It's crazy. I feel so bad for these vendors, dude. I feel so bad. When I saw that video, I felt so bad. It's terrible.
Yeah, because the National is a marathon. It's a 5-day marathon, but it's not just 5 days. I mean, these guys are preparing for months in advance. And then when they get there, it's like, all right, well, we got to make money. We got to
Yeah.
sell. So we really don't want to take much breaks. They don't want to take much breaks. They grab a little grub, keep it moving, get it going. You take a 5-minute break, go get a cup of coffee or something. So they're like hustling. They're hustling. They're hustling. And then for somebody to come along and take advantage of them when I guess maybe they're at their weakest when they go to the bathroom or go get a lunch, it's horrible. And those people, that old man, his face should be blasted all over the country, and should never be allowed. Let me tell you something. Showed up at my card show. He's getting shown the door real quick. That's it. I don't care. There's no second chances with that stuff with me. You know what I mean? And
None.
that's the
I
bottom line.
heard I heard about somebody else. I don't know. I believe this guy was also a vendor, but his slab case got robbed also. Like it's just you always hear these stories. Even and I hate to give this guy a plug sometimes, but he's a nice guy, I guess. Santiago Sports. Every time there's a Philly show, he gets robbed. Every time. Cameras is just not enough anymore. And I mean, I have cameras at my booth no matter what show I'm at. We always have a
Yeah,
camera.
yeah. No, there's the problem is there's a lot of people out there that go to these events just to steal stuff, just to take
Yeah.
things. And it's a very small percentage because I'm telling you, I met so many awesome people out there in Chicago. Just if it's either being, going down the escalator or in the elevator or at the hotel or just walking around, I met so many awesome people. It's it's a small percentage. It could happen anywhere. You can get
Yeah.
robbed anywhere. You can get robbed at a flea market. You can get robbed in ShopRite. You can get robbed anywhere. But
Of course.
people try to take advantage, and just for the vendors out there, either being at my show or whatever shows you do, Make sure you have eyes on your stuff. Don't just trust that, you know what, maybe there's not too many people walking the floor right now. I could leave for 5 minutes and go here, go there. Always make sure you have somebody. Turn to your vendor next to you. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Make friends with the guy next to you. Say, hey, listen, man, I'm here by myself today. Or it's just the two of us here. I'm going to, you know what you got in your case. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And say, listen, I got to run to the bathroom for 5 minutes or 2 minutes. Just, just keep an eye on the floor for a second. And then maybe you could do the favor for him.
yeah.
Listen,
So
you feel a
you
person
bring
out,
that
feel
up,
them out.
and I just saw a situation at a Pokemon show where there was a vendor, two vendors set up. I don't know if they were a team or two separate vendors, but it looked like they were a team. And they had a shelving unit behind them, and they had $1,000 box on the top shelf, right? And the vendor right behind them takes $1,000 box off, and he robs them. Thank God they had a camera because the vendor who got robbed had to go and check his camera, and then I applaud this guy because if it was me and I saw that tape, I probably would have went at the vendor who robbed me. But they went up to the showrunner and had it all handled internally. No cops, no nothing, no fighting. I would fault the guy, but you don't see $1,000 box and get away with it. But uh, you there's vendors out there now. You can't even trust them. And if people who go to Pokemon shows and watch Pokemon influencers on TikTok or Instagram, this is not the first time. This is something that happens more often than you think. The vendor next to you or the vendor behind you will rob that box from you. If you have a box and you have enough showcases and a big enough showcase, sometimes you may want to think about putting the boxes in the showcase. I know I plan on doing that at the next big show that I do in Philly with some of the products I have. I'm going to put them in a showcase because why not? I mean, luckily for me, I'm going to be surrounded by family, you, Lenny, the guys from the cave, so I don't have to worry about nothing. But man, is it scary, dude? You can't. I mean, vendors robbing vendors now, and this is a random Pokemon show. I don't know where the show was, but
Where,
it's so
where
sad.
does where does it end, man? Like, where does it end? It's a shame. It doesn't happen too much, but the thing is, when it happens, it's highly publicized.
Yeah,
And I just, I mean, we could talk about it forever, but it's like, just make sure you watch your stuff and know who is around you. S- Just take notice. And if you have that luxury of getting that extra person that could be on the floor that just watches. I think we're going to do something like that going forward when I do a big show. Definitely. I might, if you're able to bring somebody along that really just doesn't have interest in what you're doing, but you just give them a function, say that your function is to just watch what's going on
yeah,
here. And if you see
yeah,
somebody that looks a little shady or something going on, let us know. Bring it to our attention,
100%. Yeah.
you know. But what do you think
So with
about
that
those?
being said,
Yeah.
how was your experience overall? Any monster pickups? Did you buy anything for the PC?
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I thought was very cool that I bought for the PC, and I don't really have much of a PC itch that much anymore, but when I find things that I haven't seen, I like to grab them. I grabbed an on-card Undertaker auto. Yeah, and I got a really
That's
good
cool.
price. I got a really good price for it. It was at the Fitterman booth, and he used to have a contract with Fitterman where that was his like primary. I believe it was they were the guys that handled all his autograph signings. So they had a ton of his stuff, but I wish I had the card with me. I'll show it on the next one. It was like an early 90s Undertaker. The company, the card was called Merlin, and it was like this old
I know, right?
school. It was what the Undertaker looked like when he came out in the beginning, just like real, like creepy looking. He used to have like all like the white paint on
It
his
was
face.
like a white face.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just like real, like and I never saw the card before, and he signed it beautifully in silver, and it was Beckett authenticated and everything. And I said, I need to have this, man.
Yeah.
That was a cool PC piece. I picked up 1956 tops. It was a partial set, that I couldn't pass on it. The price was phenomenal, and there was a lot of great stuff out there. But those were some of the highlights. I picked up a lot of mishmash stuff to kind of blow out and sell, but they you could have found anything there.
Nice,
You could have found
nice.
anything. But my overall take from the show, I think it was amazing. The big applause to everybody that coordinated it. They had a ton of security on the floor. They
Nice.
I believe
Apparently not enough, maybe. I don't know, but
yeah, but you know what? For the majority, for 99.9% of it, it was safe. Everybody was good. It was fantastic. So I was super happy with that. Looks like you got a little froze there with the coffee. Hopefully you come. Yeah, you're back now.
yeah,
But
yeah, you're good, you're good.
so my overall consensus, amazing show. Tons and tons of great products. You got to get out to the national whenever they come up next year. It's something amazing to see. What another thing I saw, which I'm sure they offered this to vendors. The security company was fantastic that they had there, and they had probably 50 to 100 different security guards roaming through the place. But certain vendors had security in their booth, and they were
Overnight?
no, they were there all day with them. So let's say say the collector's cave is there and they're vending, and you got the five guys doing their thing. They had a security guard sitting in the booth with them, just basically
Wow.
sitting there. I'm sure they offered that option to you. Say, hey, you want a security guard in the booth with you? It's going to be X amount of money. I think that was. I guarantee they did not get robbed. Those guys.
Right,
That was
right.
fantastic to see. If I had to say something, definitely pay for the 5 day early access ticket. It was $150 for the 5 day early access ticket, and you got in at 9 o'clock in the morning when everybody else, regular people that bought day of tickets, got in at 10 o'clock. So but the
So
day of,
splurge a little bit.
you, but if you think about it, so let's just say you only go to the show 2 days out of the five, right? That's $75 a day, okay? And you have the luxury to not have to wait on any lines. You're going to walk. If you walked in at 9 o'clock, there were no lines. You walked right in the door. And then you had the luxury of having the whole place. Got a seagull out here talking to me. you got you got the whole place to walk around for an hour free
Yeah.
by yourself. So get that early access ticket, guys. That is a no-brainer. It
So
was amazing.
you to go back on something you said. You said you saw a lot of product. Every card was there. But the one thing I'm hearing, not a whole lot of Pokemon.
He like
And the
he's like
seagull obviously agrees.
the seagull agrees with the show. There was not a lot of Pokemon. There was not a lot of Pokemon, and it was okay. I mean, listen, it's a sports card show. That's what it is. There was Pokemon on the floor, and I'm sure they did amazing. I'm sure they did amazing because they were few and far between. And as we know, a lot of people do collect Pokemon and sports cards.
Yeah,
So I know you guys always say like, "Hey, listen, if I'm the only vendor in a sports card show, I'm happy." You know
hundred
what I mean?
percent.
Yeah. So
Now, do you think there were a lot of Pokemon buyers, or was just and they just couldn't find the Pokemon supply there, or like what do you think?
I think there were definitely a lot of Pokemon buyers because
Interesting.
I don't know a lot about Pokemon, but people know how good Pokemon is. So
Yeah,
if you know anything about Pokemon, which I just unfortunately don't know a lot about it, I put a lot of my interest, a lot of my knowledge is sports card based, and I'm trying to learn as we go because I have to. I have to learn. But
yeah,
if you were smart, you would have looked at those Pokemon tables because I'm sure they had some grails on the table that people might have just walked by. You
yeah.
would have you would have dominated there with the tables. Because if there
Probably.
were, yeah, because if it was, I would say out of the whole place, maybe 10%,
Really,
maybe
that's
10%
small.
Pokemon. It was very small, not much, not much, and maybe even less, maybe even less. I did not see that much of it. Every
Interesting.
Yeah, about every 10 tables that I saw, there was about one Pokemon table. That's about right. Yeah. So I mean, listen, you guys have the Collecticon. There's other huge events. What's the biggest Pokemon event out there?
Collecticon. Collecticon would be the nationals for Pokemon. But it's like a traveling circus where nationals is one time a year. Collecticon, I think last weekend was just in Los Angeles. I don't know where the one is for next month, but not it's not a circus, but it's like a traveling show.
Right.
But Collecticon is where it's at for anything TCG. I don't think there's a whole lot of sports there.
Right.
Well, like if I ever got into a Collecticon, you could bet you could bet anything. I'm gonna bring sports with me because there's always gonna be a few guys who do both. There's gonna be, and that's the type of show where it's like, hey, you're buying sports also, yeah, and you might actually get a good deal on something.
You definitely will. You definitely
Yeah,
will. I think it's one of those things where, like I said, if I knew a little bit more about Pokemon, I would have stopped and said, "Let me try to find some Grails here," because I guarantee they had them out. Because you don't go to the
yeah.
National and just bring dollar cards if you're selling Pokemon. I mean, I'm sure they did have their dollar cards, but I'm sure they had some Grails in there. There's no question about it.
Oh yeah. It's nice. It's nice to hear that Pokemon has hit the nationals floor though a little bit. I'm not gonna lie to you. I remember when I went back to the nationals that I went to a few years ago. There's no Pokemon there, like zero Pokemon.
Zero, yeah,
So
I
let's,
remember zero.
here's the thing about Pokemon. Um, I'm good, thank you. Here's the thing about Pokemon. When it takes over a show, it literally takes over a show.
No
Like you
question.
saw it firsthand, right? First you did sports card show, and here I come. Hey, can we promote Pokemon a little bit? You got a good percentage of Pokemon vendors now, right? And we do a lot of TCG at your shows. So I don't want, not that I don't want, but it's good that Pokemon's not taking over the national. Leave the national alone. We have Collecticon. Let us keep Collecticon. Keep the sports cards. It's good. Maybe a good balance of both, but Pokemon vendors, they're ruthless. They want to be everywhere. They're at shows 5 days a week in the tri-state area.
I had some I had some of my Pokemon vendors actually come up to me at the National, and I
Really?
saw them and it spotted me. They're like, "Matty, what are you doing?" I was like, "Oh my God, what are you doing here?"
Right.
That was cool.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That's really cool.
yeah, no. So it was a great experience overall. A plus, love it. It was awesome. Unfortunately, you have those hiccups, but that happens everywhere. But that's why
Everywhere.
you gotta put in place your security. You got to put in place your extra eyes on the field, and you just got to be cognizant of your surroundings. I mean that's life. Don't bury your head in your
Yeah.
phone, guys. Don't bury your head in your phone. Get up, interact with people, put prices on cards. Don't go 10% over. I not don't 10 and not percent. Don't go 10x over because 10% is a good number to be negotiating. You got that $100
Yes.
card that like you're
Love
willing
that.
to go down to $85. Drop the 110 price tag on it. Leaves yourself some room
I
to
agree.
negotiate.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think a lot of people should just like learn. I think that's also like the problem with some car shows. Like you have guys like me. I've been vending for a long time. You got a lot of new vendors out there, who just saw like the opportunity to make some money in this hobby, which is great. Like do it, but like be smart. It's
Yeah.
inventory. There's bad people everywhere. It doesn't matter where you go. I mean that grandpa, father, whoever he is, to that little boy to open up a showcase like that at a car show. That's mind blowing to me. Like that's just like you never hear stuff like that. Someone leaves a card on the showcase, you hear it being swiped. Someone leaves a box of cards or like a slab case on a showcase or on the floor, you hear it being swiped. But to open up an actual showcase and take a card out, I can't believe that. I can't believe that video. That video shocked me. I couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it. Mind
Yeah,
blowing.
it's shocking, and like I said, I feel bad for the boy that he was put in that situation
Yeah,
because I'm sure he went there as a collector.
yeah,
You know, I'm sure he went there as a collector, and the criminal that he was with, because there's no other way to call him. You know, he's not a normal citizen. He's a criminal. The criminal
yeah.
that
I mean, think about how deep it could go, right? Where like now you're gonna see like a mom's son who hangs out with that kid and his family, just like, hey, listen, I don't really want to be affiliated with you anymore. That's how deep it could actually go. Unfortunately, these people made a bad decision, and it could you just ruin that poor kid, man. It sucks.
yeah, it sucks. Well, let's talk real quick on some of these Otani cards that have been pulled. These 101s, man. These
Oh yeah,
big money,
oh,
man. Big
10
money.
million,
I think it was like 12 or something.
12 million.
Uh, I mean, this seems like this is almost the direction of the hobby now. These cards are popping up multiple times a year,
Yeah,
and I see the Topps Chrome. I believe it's the Topps Chrome update is coming out tomorrow. Topps Chrome. I think it's the Topps Chrome the basketball update.
yeah,
It's coming out tomorrow, and that's a big box, man. There are there are so many amazing grails that are going to be in there, and these cards, from numbered cards to even like refractors of Dylan Harper and stuff, they're all in there, and the these companies that keep bringing out these banger cards, man, these banger boxes, and to offer these amazing 101 grails, it's life changing for some people. I understand the odds of hitting them. Listen, it's like hitting the lottery, the chance. But to give somebody an opportunity to hit something like that, man, $10 million card, it's pretty fun.
yeah.
But
Bounties is where it's at, and the bounty got raised several times that day, right? It went from like 10 million to 12 million, and then they had the private sale. That's all everybody was talking about over there too. It was insane. It was incredible.
yeah, it's pretty amazing. The Otani market is alive and well. It's just something else. It's totally amazing what he brings to the table. Don't worry about it.
Yeah,
We're live. We're live. People
I
want to get in.
know.
They want to get into the podcast, man. They want to get in. One day maybe we'll bring them in. We'll interview them. There they are. There they are.
Yeah,
This is live, baby. This is what happens. It's all
yeah.
good. You know.
Paradise.
But,
We'll show
yeah.
show everybody in paradise.
There we go, in paradise, exactly. Nah, the Otani market, I mean, that's an amazing grill card. I mean, me personally, being the vintage guy, I'd still rather have a 52 mantle rookie. I'd still rather have a 52 mantle. It's all good. But these cards are grails, man, and it's great for the hobby. It keeps people interested. Because I don't remember way back when, even like 5, 10 years ago, them pumping out grails like this at such a rapid pace. These 101s,
No, Tops knows what they're doing, man. They know what they're doing.
these shields, these
Michael Rubin is
logos,
a genius.
right? I mean, have any? Do you remember? Has any of these grails ever come through your store? Have you like? I mean, it doesn't have to be like couple $100,000 card, but have you ever had a card that's like one of these like crazy 101s come through the store that you could recall? No, nothing, huh?
No.
Wow. What's the biggest one you think that you remember that's came through? Like something that just basically like baffled you that you saw and you were like, "Whew, this is amazing pull."
You hear me?
And now I hear you. Now I hear you.
Okay. Did you ever see the Evan Longoria 101 bat knob?
I've seen bat knobs. They're
All
awesome.
right. So Evan Longoria used to play for the Rays, right?
Yep. Yep.
Look this up. Evan Longoria 101 bat knob with a Charizard on it.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
How
I
did
think
that get on there?
I don't know how he got it on there. I don't know how he was able to get away with it. Not only did he get away with it, but Topps was able to buy it. They put it in the card, and there's a shop owner somewhere down south who owns it. It's a one. I believe it's a 101. It's actually insane. It's really really cool card.
What do you mean there was a Charizard on it? What he kind of like engraved it on the
Somebody
back?
Yeah, somebody drew a Charizard on the bottom of the bat. Yeah,
Wow,
yeah, very cool card.
that's absolutely amazing.
So it is. So it's nice when you see like sports and Pokemon mix. Like there's another. I don't remember the pitcher's name in the All Star game. He had a glove with a Charizard card built into his glove.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so you do get a lot of athletes who cross over some cool stuff too, right? With Pokemon, but I don't know any cards off the top of my head, but just a lot of cool things that they're doing now.
Well, you know what? Listen, numbered stuff has changed the game. Numbered
Yeah,
stuff completely has changed the game. And I always say rarity is king. Rarity is where you want to be. You got to buy those, you got to get those rare cards. And that's what, in a sense, it looks like is going to have the longevity in the market.
agreed. Yeah. Now
You
let
know,
me ask you this: you pull off a card numbered to 10, and all 10 of them eventually get graded. Nine of them graded 9 or lower. One of them grades a PSA 10. You have a 1-to-1,
that's what I'm saying.
right?
That's what I'm saying. Everything is pop count. You know, you have to look at pop counts on things, and that's where you go back to some of these cards from back in the day. You just look at the pop count. That's why I always say, and I'm always going to pump this, is vintage. I feel is king because the pop counts are so low on some of these cards,
Yeah, yeah,
especially going back into the 50s and 60s. Forget about the tobacco. The pop counts, we know that the pop counts are nothing. But you
nothing.
just go back to some of the early mantles, some of the early mazes. The pop count is so much lower than something newer. That
Yeah, no, I agree.
that's where you got to be, and it's something else, man. It really is. But I would say enjoy the rest of your day, dude. There you go. There you go. The weather's beautiful. The summer is gorgeous,
Yes,
man. Enjoy the rest of the day. We will see you in a couple days.
yes,
You
sir.
get on. There's a lot of other things we want to touch on, but we just we wanted to get on and give a quick breakdown on the national and what's going on in the hobby right now because it is on fire. People are enjoying their summers, but at the same time, that don't stop no card shows. It doesn't stop cards, man.
Nope.
360, 365.
That's right. Yes, yes. I will have an announcement next week about the Collector's Cave trade night coming up in September, maybe August. If I can pull it off, I'm going for August, but looks like September.
Beautiful, beautiful. And we got some announcements that we're coming out with soon too. And listen, just keep it rocking and rolling, man. Enjoy yourself, and we'll be back on in a few days. August 14th,
Yeah.
St. Patrick's, Staten Island. We're taking over the gym this time. 85 plus tables. It's going to be absolutely amazing.
Yes, sir.
Guys,
Have a good one, everybody.
have a great day, man. We will see you shortly. Bye bye now.
Yes, sir. Bye.